Discoverlisters. Welcome back to the I Want to Travel podcast. Today is episode number 12, and it's our special holiday podcast, Christmas Abroad episode. Oh my God, I can't believe it's episode 12, December, holiday podcast. How did that even happen? It wasn't even planned, but it's a 12th month of the year. It's Christmas and our 12th episode. So it's funny, guys. I'm kidding. I thought it was really Today we have two very special Discoverlisters. Everyone meet Ariana and Micah. Ariana and Micah are here to share some of their experiences traveling to other countries during Christmas time. Things are still a little tough with international flights and international travel right now. So it's great to have these two great friends of mine share their experiences and recommendations on where to go and what to see, some really cool holiday decorations, activities, and traditions. So Ariana and Micah, welcome. Thank you both for being on our podcast. We ask all of our guests the same question to start off the podcast. That question is, what is your favorite destination and a hotspot that you would recommend on the Discoverlist app? Because, in Discoverlist, it's all about sharing travel recommendations with friends. So let's start with ladies first. Ariana, tell us, what is your favorite destination and a hotspot you would recommend on the Discoverlist app?
Well, my favorite destination, one of the things that made me fall in love with travel is Rome. Italy is my favorite country, and Rome by far is my favorite. It was the very first destination that I went to, and one of the first sites that I happened to stumble upon was the Colosseum. So that is a major hotspot that I really recommend for everybody to visit. It's definitely something that everybody needs to see at least once in their lifetime.
Very much agree. And I'm also big on Italy. It is my favorite country. And I've told you both this, that in all of my travels, before Italy, I love Japan. Japan was number one. Japan was it. But then I went to Italy and oh my God, it's amazing country. All the things you can do there, you can do different things from coast to coast, north and south. It's an amazing country. But anyway, so Micah, tell us, what's your favorite destination?
My favorite destination in the world is Brazil, actually. I've been there. I just actually got back there earlier this week. I've been, 3 times in the last 12 months, 8 times total. And I've been from Rio to Fortaleza to Salvador to Sao Paulo. So I've been to all the great places there. And the reason why I love Brazil out of every other country I've been to, the 40 plus countries I've been to, is being in part because of the love that you get there comparatively to any other country I've been to. Everyone's genuinely nice. The food is great. The energy is lively. Outside of Carnival, the energy is still just lively. And it's a warm place. I love the beach. And they have some of the best beaches in the world. So yeah, I would say Brazil is my number one country thus far, by far. Yeah, I recommend anyone to travel to Brazil outside of Carnival. The best time to travel is actually during this time, while it's cold here in New York, and then the Northern Hemisphere, it's summertime there. And so you definitely should take a trip down there during November, December timeframe to get 12 hours of sunshine, 90-degree weather, and nice warm beaches. So yeah, Brazil is where it's at.
I forgot to tell our listeners that yes, Micah is currently in New York. He lives in New York, and Ariana is in LA. So LA, New York, coast to coast in the United States. We have two guests here. Yes. But you forgot to mention, Micah, what is a hot spot in Brazil that you would recommend?
Hot spot in Brazil. It depends upon what you're into. I love Salvador because it has a really big Black African population there, or African descendants there, and so the food there is really great. I'm not gonna say Rio because everyone goes to Rio there, but if you're into any type of water sports like windsurfing, if you're into kite surfing, or just surfing in general, then I would advise places like Cambuco Beach or Jericoacoara as well. They're very small fishing villages off the northeast coast, and they're known for for great spots
Nice.
for kite surfing because of the east trade winds that goes there. So definitely, check that out. Don't necessarily go to like Rio and all the other bigger spots. Go to some of the smaller places for the water sports.
I hear you. And you are that anti-tourism type of traveler where you like to check out the spots
Yes.
that nobody's at. So I hear you.
Yes. Yes.
All right, well, let's get started. To our listeners, this chat is going to be posted on our I Wanna Travel podcast, but it will also be posted on our Discoverlist YouTube channel. Ariana and Micah have shared some photos of their travels, and we will be showing those as they share their experiences. I will do my best to describe what's in those photos for our podcast listeners, but if you're interested in seeing those photos and some of the videos that I'll be showing, head to our Discoverlist YouTube channel to check those out. So where are we going? Let's see. Santa is up in the air. You have to say Santa is up in the air. For our listeners, that's APP, up in the air. Like our Discoverlist app. So where is he going? Let's see. We're going to Europe. So first, let's head out to Europe. Santa is taking us to Europe, and we're going to start with Ariana, who will talk about Budapest and Vienna. Then we will continue with Micah, who will talk about Rome, Amsterdam, and one more that I will keep it as a surprise for now because it's not in Europe, and we'll talk about that later. So first, let's talk about Budapest. So Ariana, it looks very pretty from this photo, the pretty Christmas tree. It looks like it was raining that day. Tell us about Budapest, Christmas in Budapest. Seems like it's all about the food. So yummy, yummy. Tell me what you ate there. What's in this photo that we see here of food?
So in this photo, we're actually in I think it was Marty Square. So it's one of the biggest square in all of Budapest, and definitely it is all about the food. The decor is beautiful, but when you walk into any Christmas market, you're definitely going to you're gonna get the aromas of all of the smells of the food. First of all, those big pots that you see right there, that's the Glühwein, which is the mulled wine, which definitely I had plenty of when we came to Budapest. So one of my favorite dishes from Budapest is actually a traditional soup. It's a beef soup, and it's called goulash. So goulash is a traditional soup, and Hungarian soup. It's made with carrots, it's made with onion, and the secret ingredient in Budapest is the paprika. So
Really?
a lot of the food there has paprika. So if you do go to Budapest, be prepared to enjoy the spices, and they are delicious. So in Budapest, we actually had a lot of sausages as well. So Budapest is known for their sausages. My husband actually got a blood sausage. I was a little bit scared of blood sausage because I've had it in our Latin American countries. And I saw the way they were actually made. So I never tasted it. But my husband was like, just taste it. And I am glad I did. Definitely, it is now one of my favorite sausages. They are delicious.
Sausage?
A blood sausage,
You know, I
yeah.
have to say that when you said sausages, the first thing that came to mind was Germany, because I've been to Germany, and when I was there, I had to try the sausages, and I think I tried that, but I can't recall it because it's, when you go to a place, you're like, oh, let me try what's from that country, and I think
Yes.
I tried it, but I can't remember what it tastes like.
Oh, it's definitely delicious. It's really good. They have different types of sausages, but if you go to Budapest, they are known for their blood sausage, so I really recommend for you to have that. They have so many other delicious desserts. One of the things that I had is called lascaux. I think it's lascaux. So think of this fried type of dough, kind of like a pizza dough that's fried. So it's so fluffy and so delicious. And then they drizzle butter and garlic, and it's topped off with cheese. I don't have a picture of that. Unfortunately, it was so good that I ate it all up all the times
No
that I
time for
had
photos.
it. Yeah, so I had the traditional way that they serve it in Budapest, but today, if you do happen to stumble upon a stall that has it, you could try it with meats. A lot of people had it with vegetables. You could put sauces on it. So that was one of my favorite things in all of Budapest.
But how do you spell that?
Lasgos. So it's Lasgos, I believe.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so they pronounce it Lasgos.
Okay, interesting.
Yes, very
Okay.
delicious.
But it looks like very filling food. And then
Very
not really, doesn't really cater to vegetarians out there.
Not necessarily. I know that they have vegetarian dishes. I didn't have them because I'm not vegetarian, but just with the mulled wine that you're gonna be having and the dessert, honestly, it's just so filling that there's not a lot of room to eat.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny.
Yes.
Well, think anything else you want to share? Or maybe Micah, I saw you shake your head a lot or nod your head a lot. Did you want to say something about Budapest?
Well, I have yet to visit Budapest, but I know when I was in Prague during the holidays as well too. I mean, two of the main dishes that they had there were, aside from the mulled wine, was goulash as well too. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's something that I've had in Prague, and again, it was amazing. And the food is very, very filling. So I think they have some similarities there, you know, from Prague to Budapest. And yeah, I mean, from looking at these pictures here, and I mean, it makes me want to get back into the season and travel over there now and kind of experience Budapest during the holidays.
Nice.
Definitely. So I've actually been to Prague, and we actually went to Christmas markets in Prague. So definitely they have a very big similarity in the food. One thing that does stand out in Prague is the pork that they serve. They have
Yeah.
like this pork that's just amazing, also very filling, but very quite delicious.
Nice. All right. Well, now let's head west to, oh, I forgot to say.
Oh,
So you wanted to share actually a little bit more about what you did in Budapest because you said, you know what, Discoverlist is about recommending, and I want to recommend this. So tell us, what are we seeing in this photo?
okay. So if you ever happen to go to Budapest, yes, Christmas markets are the number one thing you want to do. But if you happen to go there, you cannot miss the thermal baths. The thermal baths was one of the most amazing experience that I've had. So at this point, so this is my husband Roger, and this is Anaida. At that point, she was 3 years old. So we travel with our daughter everywhere. We take her everywhere. So I really wanted to enjoy this thermal baths. This is over 100 years old. It has a beautiful architecture. And I wanted to see how I felt to be in this natural spring water. So just so you know, it's 160 degrees inside of
Wow.
the water.
Wow.
So yes, it's very hot. But if you compare it to the weather outside here, it's about 30 degrees. So it was very cold. And I was like, I don't know how Anaida is gonna take it. And she loved it. So it was such a wonderful experience. We got her first floaties. This was one of her first experiences in the pool. So we
That's
got her
awesome.
floaties, and we were in the water for over an hour, and she loved it. So if you are going to be in
Wow.
Budapest, I recommend before heading out to the markets, you want to go out to the markets when it gets dark, and it gets dark quite early in Europe. Around 4 o'clock, it's already getting dark. So I would really make it a point to go out into this thermal baths early in the day. So you get to enjoy the architecture, you get to pay people see recommendation to really get your tickets in advance because they do get full very fast. They sell out. But it is such a wonderful experience. So you need to go out to those thermal baths in Budapest. They're amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Now let's head west to Vienna. So Vienna looks like Vienna. Well, first of all, it's also very beautiful. Lots of Christmas lights and looks like a lot of stores and stuff. But it also looks like it's all about family fun. So tell us, what was your favorite activity in these markets? Did you see anything interesting, any product that was sold there? Did you buy any of it?
Yeah, so first of all, this market is my favorite. Like I've been to Prague, I've been to Scotland, I've been to a lot of different places during this time. We normally travel in November. So I've got the experience. This here is like the Christmas dream. Definitely if you're into Christmas, the walking into this market where first of all, set your Christmas spirits into high gear. There's something for everybody, not just families. So there was a lot of single people, there was friends. So there's something for everybody in the family. One of my favorite things was the ice skating. Here in California, I know in New York, there's a lot of ice skating. In California, we unfortunately don't have that. And this is called the Chris Kingle Market, inside of, right next to the city hall, in front of the city hall, actually. And it is big. It is such a big place. So you have the Christmas markets in one side. You have live skating and one of the biggest ice skating rinks that I've ever skated on. There's actually mazes that you could go through.
Oh, wow.
There's second floors in some of the ice skating rinks. It's truly amazing. There's a section for kids because some of the people do skate very fast. And on the side, there's actually a park that's transformed into a Christmas carnival for children.
Wow.
So my favorite part, and I think Anita's part also, was skating. Definitely, it is. They call it the Christmas dream. The actual Christmas market, and it's because it's just an explosion of Christmas. And the skating was definitely my favorite part.
That looks really nice. I was looking at Anita's skates. Did she have to have something, or are those her Uggs, or did she know how to skate?
So because she was so small, they didn't have skates for her.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're called training skates.
Oh.
So I don't know if you've ever rented skates.
You're
They're
breaking
harder
out
to
a little
feet.
bit.
They
Say it again.
definitely they kind of so some of the skates that you rent at certain locations,
Yeah.
they hurt. So for children, they have training skates where you're able to keep your shoes on and then you just clip on the skates on the
Oh,
bottom
very
of your
cool.
feet. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, that sounds very interesting. So you would say, like, out of all the countries that you've been to during the holidays, Vienna is definitely number one. Like, if I can only go to one place, where would you say that I should go to?
You know, Prague is pretty special. Prague had a lot of decorations and it was special. The people were very nice. But if you could select one, definitely Vienna.
Really?
Vienna, there's something about their Christmas spirit. They go all out. And this is just one market. The city is big and you literally run into a Christmas market at every different corner. At every main site, you're gonna run into a Christmas market. This just happens to be my favorite one, but definitely if you're looking for that Christmas experience, Vienna is the place to go.
Very cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for
Definitely.
all of the information and for the photos and the videos. And so now let's head over to Rome. As mentioned earlier, I love Italy. It's my favorite country, hands down. Rome is full of so much history, so much beauty. And now let's talk about what Rome is like during Christmas with Micah. So Micah, tell us about the two photos that we see here. What are we looking at?
Yeah. So luckily enough, I had the foresight. No, I'm not going to really say I had the foresight, but I took the month of December off in 2019. So as you can remember, right before COVID. And during that time frame, I traveled from Amsterdam to Prague, to Morocco, to Rome, as well as Paris during that month's time frame. And so what we're looking at here, I will say this: I didn't intentionally plan it during the holiday season. It didn't really hit me until I was in Rome that, hey, it's the holiday season, like Christmas is here. There were so many people there in Rome that, more people that I'd ever seen in my life in one small particular area. And what we're looking at here is just one of the, on the left hand side, just one of the pictures that I took as I was walking down the street. And as you can see in the background a little bit, there's cars around this square that I'm traversing for. But I think the picture on the right is the better picture. Again, you can't go to Rome without visiting the Vatican City. and that's what this is, a nativity scene that's right outside in the courtyard there in the Vatican.
It's huge.
Obviously the Vatican's in the background. Yeah, it was life size is what it seemed. And again, still not connecting the dots between, hey, being in Rome, a Catholic city, and then the Christmas holiday coming up. So I know I was there for like a Sunday service for where the Pope was going to be speaking, and could not get in to hear the Pope speak, being in part because, again, I didn't properly plan and didn't get in line. There had to be close to a couple of thousand people out there with the line that wrapped around like 2.5 hours. Wow. Just to get in. But they did have seating outside where you can see them on the big screen and everything. But the vibe of the city during that time frame was very, how can I say, energetic. I mean, it was almost electric. Just everyone. Again, this was before the pandemic, so travel was completely different before then. But everyone was walking around. Everyone was in high spirits. And it was just an energy about the city that I'd never felt any other place during the holiday season. So yeah, it was a special trip, and I'm glad I actually had made that trip in the time frame that I did, because obviously during 2020, not a lot of us, we weren't able to go anywhere. So
yes.
I'm glad I was able to experience that before the lockdown. But yeah, I'm sorry, didn't have any pictures of food or anything else of the sort, even though I will say this, one of my favorite meals is pizza before, I even went to Italy. And I would say, ranking pizza in the world, you have to go to Italy.
Yes.
I mean, I was only in Rome, but one of the things that I took notice to, like living here in New York always says, hey, we have the best pizza here in New York. But I guarantee you, I went to like the smallest, like mom and pop place in there, in Italy, in Rome. And what really blew my mind was when I asked for the slice of pizza, she pulled out a pair of scissors, and cut my pizza. And I'm like, hey, like I've never seen that before compared to every other place in the world. Somebody used like the little pizza cutter with the roller knife on it. But yeah, she pulled out a pair of shears and cut my pizza. And it was the most amazing pizza I've ever had. And
wow.
I don't know, maybe because she used a pair of scissors, but it was the food there was amazing. So yeah, I had a great time visiting Rome during December 2019.
You mentioned that Pope was there, and you saw like, I guess, you saw the screen outside. Was there like a special sort of like, I'm assuming special kind of service because it was Christmas time?
I think so. Again, I don't speak Italian, so I don't know what was being said. But,
it didn't have like the transcribed.
So honestly, I don't fault me for this, but I didn't wait around to do that because I was so mad I couldn't actually get in. I literally waited in line for like 2.5, 3 hours. And then I think they cut it off. They probably cut it off to people actually entering into the chapel. I'm sorry, is it a chapel? I think it's considered a chapel. They stopped.
Basilica.
They cut off probably about. Yes, they cut off probably like 200 people in front of me, and so I was like kind of mad that I had to sit outside because it was a little chilly. So I was like, I'm not gonna watch this outside.
It's okay.
But
you don't have to tell us your excuses.
Yeah, but it was.
Were you there on Christmas Day?
No, I was not. I was there probably about a week, 2 weeks before.
Awesome.
Christmas. So yeah, I mean, it was just the energy then was still just amazing that people were there. And there are people from so many parts of the world, like nuns and everything else, from speaking different languages and everything else. I will say this, I think there was a Filipino, I don't know, clergyman that was presiding over it, because there were a lot of Filipino nuns that were there. Because I recognized the language when they were speaking in line, and there had to be a couple of hundred of them that had taken the trip to see their clergy, this clergy speak, as well as the Pope. So yeah, it was a special moment saying that I was there during the holiday season and able to at least see the Pope on it.
That's very cool. All right. Well, when you sent me this next video, I loved it. It's awesome. And it reminds me of SantaCon in New York City.
Yes.
So if you're not familiar with SantaCon, it happens every year in New York City. But unlike SantaCon in New York City, what we're seeing here does not involve alcohol and drunk Santas by the end of the night. So Micah, tell us what we see. We're seeing here a bunch of people in bikes in Santa Claus costumes.
Yeah, so I'm the type of traveler, when I travel, again, I don't try to go to the touristy places. So I'll usually just put a backpack on and walk around the city. And that's what I was essentially doing at this time when I just saw this wave of, people dressed as Santas on bikes, biking down the streets. And as you can imagine, the streets were already packed. And so to see this many people there and like almost like the sea spreading, the Red Sea spreading where everyone's like, allowing them to come through was a pretty cool thing to see in the middle of the day. So again, I don't know how it got formed. I literally was just walking down the street and just saw the procession of bikes. I mean, I'm talking about a couple of hundred bikes
Nice.
down the street and people just enjoying themselves.
So I actually did some research because I wanted to know what it was. And it happens every year in December. And what this is people bike for charity, and it's organized by the Peter Pan Onlus, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, Association, who supports children affected by cancer and their families. So you see here, people are raising money for that charity. And you don't have to ride a bike. You can also attend the event on this day and donate money to the charity that day as well. But I think that's very nice. Unlike us in SantaCon, because I did it. I didn't dress as Santa, but I did go. My brother was in town that year, and I was like, let's do SantaCon. And we went to Slate, actually, one of my favorite places, and just drank during the day with other Santas. But here, I love that they're doing this for charity. It's something very special, especially during this time. It's a special holiday for all kids. So that's very nice. Alrighty, so now tell us about Amsterdam. Oops, I went the wrong way. Amsterdam. What did you see here?
Yeah,
what was your experience?
So again, the way I travel is I literally just wander around the city, find a main point and just walk around. And again, I still hadn't thought about like, hey, I'm traveling during the holiday season, because I never kind of think about. I usually travel around Thanksgiving time only because that's when flights are the cheapest.
Mhm.
International flights are the
Internationally, not
cheapest here.
domestically, but internationally.
Yes, internationally here from the United States, flights are the cheapest when traveling comparatively to any other time of the year. So it didn't really hit me until I was there and I saw the lights and everything. So literally just walking down the street, meeting up some friends to grab dinner and drinks, and then saw the lights. And I was just like, oh yeah, it is the holiday season, and kind of made an effort to try to find any other places in the city that I could find. I think this is the main street that it was on, because I think there's some trolleys on the street as well too. So this is one of the main streets within, I guess would be downtown Amsterdam, I guess you could say. And I was just walking through and just saw how the lights were amazing. And unfortunately, the iPhone can't, catch. I think this was like 2 years ago. So this is probably like the iPhone 10, the most advanced phone we had at that point in time. So couldn't get the wide angle just yet, but yeah, it was just an amazing time there. And again, the energy that people had there, for the holiday, impending holiday that was coming up, meaning Christmas. It's just nice to be in some other place other than, the United States during the holiday season and seeing how other people are celebrating the holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty. So for the last destination, the surprise Christmas destination, Micah, you kind of told us already and kind of burned it for me, but here I go anyway. Let's show everyone where Santa is headed. He's headed south to Brazil. Oh my God, look at Santa in his
Yeah.
shorts and his t-shirt in Brazil. So tell
Yes.
us, Micah, how
Yes.
was Brazil and how different does it feel to be in South America versus Europe during this time?
Oh, it's completely different. It's night and day. Almost didn't feel like it was like the holiday season there, because obviously you're dealing with 90-degree weather during the day and then 80-degree weather at night. And but what I will say is that one thing I do love about Brazil, or just South America in general, I can speak about Brazil, is that they're outside at night because it's too hot to be out during the day. So along the strip, which you can't see, but to my back is a long walkway, a long sidewalk where and I'm in Fortaleza at this point, the northeast section of Brazil. But everyone's out there jogging, running, staying fit. So you're talking about people sweating and out, not in Amsterdam, not in Prague, not in Budapest where it's 30 degrees outside. It's like 82 degrees outside. So everyone's drinking coconut water and trying to stay hydrated. So if you took away the lights that were up, you would not think it was the holiday. That's how it felt to me. It did not feel like, hey, we're getting ready to, celebrate Christmas, being in part because in the Northern Hemisphere, even in Florida, where I'm originally from, it still gets pretty chilly around the Christmas time. It's still around down in the 50s or 60s. So you're not like running around outside with like shorts on during that time frame. But yeah, people are laying out on the beach during the day. I didn't hear any really like holiday music any of the restaurants that I was in or my hotel. So aside from the lights that I saw, you would think this to be like any other time of the year, like midsummer sometime, based upon the weather and just the vibe that it was. Everyone's out there in their sundresses, shorts, shades, hats, jumping on the beach, surfing and everything during the day. So it definitely did not feel like the traditional Christmas here in New York City with ice skating and watching the Christmas Day parade and everyone's like bundled up. So yeah, completely different vibe down in Brazil for the holidays.
Very cool, very cool. And you reminded me of something that I wanted to say earlier because Ariana, you said something. Well, there's no ice skating in LA. Well, I have to remind you, we'll have to tell listeners that yes, they can go to Staples Center. There's an ice skating rink there every year. I don't know if there's one this year, but there is one every year. And also at Dodger Stadium this year, they're doing an ice rink, which I thought it was really cool. And I think it's already out. I haven't checked it out, but I thought that was very cool that they're doing it at Dodger Stadium. I don't know how that's going to work, but well, there's ice skating in LA. Trying to represent.
So there is ice skating.
Huh?
Well,
there is ice skating.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this, in South America, there's definitely not going to be any ice skating anywhere. There's no options for ice skating anywhere in South America.
Yeah.
There's so many advantages of traveling during November and December. And Micah just mentioned the low fares. You could find low fares. So I've been traveling only in November for the last 12 years. It happened by accident because it's when we celebrate our anniversary. But definitely you find lower fares, less people, so less waiting in lines. You don't have to stand 3 hours to get into one of the sites that you want to see. And then I always find that the service is really good during that time because even people who work, like for example, restaurants, are less stressed and they're able to give you more attention. It allows you to even meet more local people. So big recommendation if you can travel in November and December.
That's some great insight. Thank you for sharing that because that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, everybody's always traveling in the summer and they don't even think about the holidays. Everybody's at home making sure they get their Christmas tree up and the gifts, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're into travel and you don't really care about other stuff, it's amazing to travel during that time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. And you guys want to say anything else? I thought you were going to say something. I don't want to interrupt. Micah?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just going to add to what she said as well too, as the reason why it's great. Like I just came back from Brazil for a week, and I've traveled the last couple of years. So I was in Brazil last November as well, too, November, December timeframe, and was there for 2 weeks last year. And then before that, was in Cairo. And before that, I kind of started a tradition of traveling on Thanksgiving, because I didn't discover it till about 4 to 5 years ago on my first trip during the Thanksgiving, December holiday, and it was to South Africa. And I got a round trip ticket here from New York for like $500.
Wow.
The same thing when I went to Cairo for about $500 as well too. So I think Thanksgiving's the holiday you should travel towards.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to spend it with your family, or not even say travel with your family, because I took my mom and my younger sister and my niece, my 5-year-old niece, to Cairo a few Thanksgivings ago. And again, our tickets were probably about $450, $500 each. And then the hotels were very, very, very inexpensive. And again, as you were saying, everything's cheaper. The people are nicer, and they don't understand that it's a holiday over here. So they're going about everyday life. So yes. I definitely agree. Travel during the Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's the best time.
Awesome. Well, thank you both very much. Thank you. I think you've provided a lot of valuable insight for everyone listening. So thank you for being our guests. It was great learning about all those amazing experiences. And as a reminder to all of our listeners, Discoverlist is always looking to engage with you as a traveler. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, please contact me on iwanttotravel@discoverlist.com. That's iwanttotravel, all one word, at discoverlist.com, or chat with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course on the Discoverlist app. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Happy holidays.
Oh, yes. Happy holidays. Thank you for reminding me. Happy holidays, everyone. Now, bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.